Storyline of game two between Miami and Atlanta was pretty clearly Jimmy Butler in the offense, just 45, playoff high. The offense was rolling. But the thing about that is that was kind of expected headed coming into the series. It's a bottom five defense. We've seen in the play-in against Cleveland or even to start the series that this defense is just kind of all over the place in terms of rotations and matchups in general. But this is a number two offense in the league all season. And Miami's basically bothered them in game one. Obviously, Trae Young had an awful game one for 12. He was 50% from the field in this game, but he still wasn't comfortable. And neither was anybody on Atlanta's on the floor for Atlanta. So I just want to go through some of the possessions. Trae Young, 10 turnovers. So it's kind of in that mix a little bit. I just want to go through some of those. The ball pressure is going to be talked about. Gabe Vincent, baseline to baseline. Jimmy, PJ guarding up in the high pick and rolls and kind of bothering him from deep. But what makes it all work is kind of the backside help. And that's what makes Miami kind of double second place in terms of charges because they're so positionally sound. But I just want to showcase kind of what that backside help has done for this defense against this in this matchup right here. PJ Gallinari is going to cut through, try to pop out and give him possibly an ISO. But that's not really a win if you're Trae Young in Atlanta because Jimmy's the one guarding. Bam's the help side guy. It's just not really a win right here. PJ doesn't even worry about the cut through for Gallinari. He waits and funnels him inside. Now Jimmy waits. PJ's there. Now it's a travel because he's trying to make that pass and make that read that the guy that PJ just left. So now it's a travel, and it's his first turnover of the night. Next one, Max Strus guarding him. It's been a pretty much not the worst idea we saw in that last regular season game between Atlanta and Miami. He was hunting Max Strus a ton. He's kind of held up in a lot of ways so far in this series. This one, the reason I pointed this out was just that Kyle Lowry being able to plant him on guys like John Collins, Gallinari, with the way you're able to size up on Trae and size down on these other guys, it works. And Kyle Lowry can handle himself in these spots. He can deny, he can front. And as we see right here, it led to a ton in game one, but it even did it a couple times in game two, where Trae's trying to force that mismatch down low, and it leads to turnovers because Kyle just does such a good job denying in that way. Next one, speaking of doubling out, now it's Max and Jimmy. As I go back a little bit, Max and Jimmy, he's going to funnel him inside. Max pops out. But the important part here is after he basically goes out of bounds and kicks it, Max is in the right spot, but he actually gets to the right spot in timing that he was not doing, a couple months ago. Right here, as I go back once again, watch the way he cuts off that kind of sideline to be able to get Trae away from his spot. Right here, he cuts him off. Trae can't bully his way past and get to that baseline curl. That's the stuff that makes them so positionally sound. But if you even go back a little bit more, as I go back to the same play, watch this weak side and watch Caleb Martin, because right here, Kyle Lowry, okay, Caleb says, okay, I'm going to dip under just in case they hit this guy on the slip. Kyle, you split the difference over here. Caleb's sitting here waiting. So even if he does get by, Caleb's sitting there waiting. They can all rotate. And that's kind of the difference maker in terms of what they want to do. Another one, Max on Trae, as we've seen. But PJ's not going to let that happen. He's not going to let him just fully pick on Max, specifically if they don't have an ability to double. The thing is, they kind of do have an ability to double when you have such great defenders around you, specifically ones that can recover to a shooter. Right here, just watch PJ Tucker. He just slowly edges over and says, okay, I'm going to edge over. I'm going to edge over. He's going to make him make a decision. He gets in the passing lane, ends up going in the other direction, as we see right here. Max Strus finishes in transition. Another one, Caleb Martin saw a ton of minutes in the second half just because of Bam foul trouble. Duncan Robinson didn't even see a lot of floor time in this game. But he did a really good job, as we kind of expected. I thought he'd play in this series in general over Gabe. It ended up being a really good play to play Gabe because he's really bothered Trae. He's had a good offensive series just with his control offensively next to Kyle with the two ball handlers. But anyway, right here, Caleb in the action. As I go back a little bit, going to cut down. He's going to slip. He's there. He gets the steal. But once again, that stuff is important. The ball pressure, the switching is all great. That's the stuff we're going to be talking about. But the positioning on that backside, once again, is what makes it all possible. Right here, once again, you're going to see Max Strus cut over that. Okay, if Caleb can't get to that ball right there, let's just say Bogdanovich catches it. Max Strus is waiting right here for a potential charge if he wants to get to the basket, or he's going to make him take a tough little floater. If he wants to make the kick, PJ's going to make it recover out to that corner, and then they get into the rotation. So everything is kind of mathematical in a lot of ways, that no matter what they do, Miami's rotations and having four solid defenders basically on the floor at all times is just really tough to create good offense consistently, play after play. Another one right after this. Once again, Caleb in the action. He's going to switch out of it. Now it's Max Strus doubling over. He's going to make the kick, and it ends up being a charge because, once again, that help side positionally sound type of stuff right here. Max Strus, that kind of edge over right there at the nail is important, but you're going to see Caleb doesn't wait to kind of recover or try to find his matchup. He's just going to get in the middle of the lane because he knows where Trae wants to get. He wants to get to that floater. He wants to get to the middle of the lane. So this is just important stuff overall. Another one, Gabe on the ball, something we saw a ton of in this game. He's pressuring. This is the scenario where, okay, forget have access to that help. Forget overlooking everything about a defense. This is just strictly ball pressure. That's kind of the thing that catches everybody's eye immediately, but it really is real. Gabe Vincent just pressuring. Jimmy knows how to hit passing lanes better than anybody. Now he gets the ball, it goes in transition. That was kind of pretty much an important bucket at the time to go up 9. So it was a pretty interesting type of performance overall. I think it's interesting to see what Miami can adjust to back in Atlanta. There's some things that Atlanta obviously has to adjust to, but they don't have to do a ton. It's just now waiting until the beginning of that game to see what Atlanta gets to, then adjusting from there. But this personnel that Miami has and the ones that they're rolling out, it's a pretty easy and simple adjustment for Eric Spoelstra.